Hey guys, and welcome to the third episode of LoudsCast. Today we're going to be taking a look at Protection PvE for Dungeons and Heroics. Before I sort of go into that, so let's make a quick point about people complaining about the sort of time they're waiting on queues for Heroics. Biggest culprits of this do seem to be sort of DPS warriors and Death Knights. Come on guys, dual spec is really cheap now, no excuse really for not having a tanking off spec, and hopefully for warriors this guys will help you a little bit and convince you to sort of tank. Anyway, that's my sort of rant over, so let's go into the talents here. Protection, obviously the sort of tree for tanking. Blood and Thunder, we put that up to 2 points there. When your thunderclap a target affected by your rend, you have a 100% chance to affect every target with rend. Really good talent. I'm really glad that something like this has come along. Rend is obviously a damage over time. You thunderclap and then that affects all targets around it. Gives you a nice AoE dot like a Pali's Consecrate or a Death Knight's Death and Decay. Next along we have Toughness, so that's 10% increased armor, well worth taking. Insight, I'm not really going to bother with it. I would if I was Fury DPS, but I don't really see why it's in the protection tree. Anyway, let's go to the next rank down. Shield specialization, you generate 5 extra, so that goes up to 15 extra rage when you block an attack. Really good to have, well worth taking, so get that talent because rage can be a problem occasionally as a protection warrior. Shield Mastery, reduce the cooldown of your shield block by 10 seconds, so that goes up to 30 seconds. Really good because it's reduced damage, so well worth taking. That's Shield Mastery there. Hold the Line, new talent here. Improves the critical strike and critical block chance by 10% for 10 seconds following a successful parry. Now if you stack parry, which is a stat worth sort of stacking as a tank, that's really good because it means you're reducing damage again. Gag Order gives your Shield Bash and Heroic Throw a 100% chance to silence the target for 3 seconds, and also lowers the cooldown on Heroic Throw by 30 seconds. So that gives you a ranged interrupt, which is really nice. Heroic Throw generates a nice bit of threat as well, and it also means that the caster can't cast another spell at you for 3 seconds. Well worth taking. Last Stand, an old favourite of mine. Yep, temporarily grants you 30% of your maximum health for 20 seconds. One of our panic buttons we use as a protection warrior if we're in trouble. Really good to have. Concussion Blow stuns the opponent for 5 seconds and deals 4822 damage based on attack power. Really good. It's another stun. It can be used as an interrupt. Really great ability to have. Bastion of Defense reduces the chance you'll be critically hit by melee attacks by 6% while in defensive stance. In addition, when you block, dodge, or parry, you have a 20% chance to become enraged, increasing physical damage done by 10% in 12 seconds. Really good talent, well worth taking. So you basically you're reducing damage, and you're getting an increase on the damage you're doing to the mob. Really good. Warbringer, your charge, insect, and intervene abilities are now usable while in combat. So yeah, you want that because if you lose threat on a mob, you can quickly charge to it, which you wouldn't normally be able to do with that talent. So for 1 point, well worth it. Going down here, improve revenge, increase the damage of your revenge ability by 60% and causes revenge to strike an additional target. So that means you're getting an extra threat on a mob you're not focusing on. So that is a good talent for you to take. Devastate. Sunder the target's armor. It's basically a better version of Sunder, and that Devastate is really good to have. Impending Victory, I'm not going to bother with, simply because I like the way Victory Rush works now. It gives you 20% of your base health back. I don't want a talent reducing that. Okay, it'll proc a bit more often, but I'm not too bothered about that because it still procs quite a lot, and I can use it then for 20% of my health, which is a big chunk really. So we're going down here to Thunderstruck, obviously taking that name from a very famous band. Improves the damage of your Rend, Cleave, and Thunderclap by 6%. So yeah, when you use Thunderclap, it's increase the damage, and then when you shockwave, it's increase the damage to that. Remember, extra damage equals extra threat or TPS. So that's a good talent there. Vigilance, Focus your protective gaze on a part of your raid member. Each time they are hit by an attack, your taunt cooldown is refreshed and you gain vengeance as if 20% of the damage was done to you. Okay guys, there's an add-on called Omen. It's well worth getting for any tank because it shows you the threat people are doing next to you. You stick vigilance on the guy who's doing the highest amount of threat. So therefore they should take less damage because they'll be transferred to you, and your taunt will have quicker cooldowns. Really good ability to have. Change slightly for raids. For raids, you want to be casting that on your other tank. And the reason why is because for bosses which require tank taunting and that sort of thing, it means you've got a quicker cooldown and it's easier for you to pull threat off them. Going across here to heavy repercussions, while your shield block is active, your shield slam hits for an additional 50% damage. So that goes up to 100% there. Yep, I want that. Safeguard, not going to bother. It's rare that I use intervene. Yeah, I have it on my bar, but it's 2 points, which can be spent elsewhere really. Sword and Broad, increase the critical strike chance of Devastate by 15%. In addition, when you devastate a range deal, you have a 30% chance of refreshing the cooldown of your shield slam and reducing its cost by 100%. Awesome talent. Gives you a free shield slam, which is one of your abilities which generates your amount of threat, and you'll also see your power aura coming up for that. And Shockwave, the last ability there, always been a fan of it since it was released. Conal Stun, really good. Okay, so we're going to cross the Fury Tree. Blood Craze, Battle Trance, and Cruelty are options here. I'm going to go for Blood Craze. If you've seen my sort of PvP videos, you'll see I'm not a great fan of it, but they're with different specs at the end of the day. For prot, it's really pretty good. So that's worth taking, and we're going to go across the arms tree, because the other two I'm not too worried about. Blitz, your charge generates 10 additional rage and stuns, an additional 2 nearby targets. You get quite a lot of AoE stuns as a prot warrior now. So that's definitely worth taking there. Field dressing increases all healing received, always good. Make your healer's life a little easier with any talents you got like that. So you're getting increased heals there. War Academy, I've got to take a point in it to get down to the next tree. So we will do damage from mortal strike, raging blow. I'm not too bothered about that, but okay. And now here's where we've got Tactical Mastery. You're not really going to be stance dancing that much in protection because you'll probably die, so not worth it at all. Second Wind, that's a PvP talent. It won't really be any use to you. Yeah, it could be handy, but I wouldn't bother. You've got, and then Drums of War, reduce the rage cost of shield bash. No. Deep Wounds is the obvious choice there. Again, another damage over time. I'm a big fan of this, so I'm gonna go for Deep Wounds, and that's our sort of talent stun there. There we go. Alright, let's go into the glyphs and give you guys a bit of advice on what glyphs to take as prot. So prime glyphs, Glyph of Shield Slam increases the damage of Shield Slam by 10%. That's worth taking. And Glyph of Revenge increases the damage of your revenge by 10%. So there we go, that's the prime glyphs there. I haven't got one selected in there at the minute. Glyph of Sunder Armor, your Sunder Armor ability affects a second nearby target. Note that that also affects your Devastate as well, so your Devastate is also hitting a second target. Glyph of Shield Wall now reduces damage taken by 60%, but its cooldown is increased by 2 minutes. You should only be using Shield Wall as a panic button really when you're on about 50% health, heal is low on mana, that sort of thing. So that's really good. It gives us an additional sort of 20% damage reduction. Okay, and Glyph of Cleaving is sort of the obvious one. Increase the number of targets your cleave hits by 1, so you get an extra hit on your cleave, which is great for AoE tanking. Glyph of Intimidating Shout, this is one of the new ones. It's really good. All targets of your Intimidating Shout now tremble in place instead of running in fear. Finally, I can use Intimidating Shout without having to pull another 5 mobs. That's great. So that's another stun you've got there, and interrupt. Really good talent. And Glyph of Command increases the duration by 2 minutes and area effects of 50% of your commanding shout. Commanding shout, of course, you're going to use to generate rage, and it's the only buff you're really going to use as a prot warrior, so duration increase is always nice, and the extra rage. So that's glyphs there that I've taken. I don't think I've missed any. Okay, so dancing for far too long now. Right, even got an itch. Okay, so let's have a look quick look at sort of rotation I'm going to use. On the pull, so to speak, and I know how sort of odd that sounds, but when you're pulling a mob, the first thing you want to hit is Command and Shout. So pop that, see the rage go up there. Next thing you want to do is, if there's a caster mob, you want to use Heroic Throw on it, because it's going to silence it. You might want to select a different mob, you might want to go for the caster, get him out of the fight, but then you want to hit charge. You've got your 3 second stun there on your charge on 2 additional targets. So shield block, and then you're going to go into your AoE tanking rotation, which is Rend on your first target, Thunderclap to apply that rend to all the other targets, Shockwave because you've got the increased damage of the Thunderclap, and then Cleave. And that should be really good initial threat on multiple targets. Then want to go for Shield Slam, because you should still have the extra damage from the shield block. If Revenge is procced, I know it can be a bit iffy at times, Revenge, you want to hit that. And then stack Devastate, so 3 stacks on your primary target, and it's going to be on a second target as well, just the glyph. Then you want to go back, these should all be off cooldown now, so you want to Thunderclap again, Shockwave again, and Cleave again. So that's your sort of AoE tanking abilities and rotation there. On a single target, there's no real point in using these other than Thunderclap. So what we do is we, again, Command and Shout, Heroic Throw, Charge, Shield Block, and then we Shield Slam right away, because that is the obviously the increased threat because of the high damage strike. We then stack Devastate to 3 stacks, use Revenge, if it warrants it, use Demoralizing Shout to reduce the physical damage taken by 10%, Thunderclap again, because it increased the damage between the mob's attacks. So that's pretty much it. Don't forget to use Taunt if you lose threat. If you see a guy in your party taking damage, you've got Intervene, and that's pretty much it. I've gone through quite a lot of stuff there. You can always find my written guide at loudscast.blogspot.com. Any comments, please post below. Thumbs this videos up if you liked it. And there's quite a lot of things happening this week at the minute. Yep, the new heroics are now available in the PTR, so I'm going to be bringing you guys some videos on them. Maybe a bit of Barrett and Hold, sort of guide on it. I know quite a lot of you done it, but I just thought I'd do a quick guide on it anyway. Anyway, thanks for watching, guys. Don't forget to subscribe and thumbs this up if you liked it. Bye.